What's up, guys? Welcome to Whiskey. My name is Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and every once in a while throw in other whiskey-related content. Today we're doing one of my end-of-year wrap-up videos where I look back on 2022. Today's video is going to be about the 5 whiskeys that were runners-up to my whiskey of the year. Stick around. Alright, so I've got 5 really good whiskeys for you guys today that are relatively affordable. These were some of my favorite whiskeys to come back to in 2022. Not only are they all delicious, but I also think they all represent a pretty good bang for buck, so much so that they were in consideration for Whiskey of the Year. And of course, I've got my usual disclaimer. Number 1, this is all opinion. Number 2, these will not be affordable or budget friendly in every market. Some markets are going to be more expensive. Also, even for me, I kind of had to stretch my usual definition of affordable or budget friendly this year because prices have gone up across the board in 2022. It sucks, but it's reality. Luckily, these 5 whiskeys are still not going to break the bank, at least where I live. My next video is going to be the big one. It'll be Whiskey of the Year. As I said, these guys are the runners up, so great bang for buck still. Excellent whiskeys. Some of them are new discoveries this year. Others are old friends that I still like coming back to. And of course, you guys know I need my mystery pour. I've got a great whiskey in my glass here. It almost made the list as a runner-up. Didn't quite, so make sure you stay tuned after the list. I'll let you know what that is. And I guess that's it. Let's jump straight into it. These were the 5 whiskeys that were under consideration for Whiskey of the Year. And before we jump in, if you could kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. Quickly before the list, my honorable mention is going to be Craigellachie 13 because of course it is. This was my Whiskey of the Year last year. Have you still not had this? So at number 5, I've got a whiskey that I've talked about a lot on the channel before, and honestly, so has everyone else. Everyone's been talking about this stuff for some time now. It is lower on the list because A, I've had a lot of it, and B, it will come as a surprise to precisely nobody. I'm sure plenty of you out there are tired of hearing about this one, but it's still one of the best entry-level whiskeys out there. It's Arran 10. I won't dwell on this one for too long. It's won an Oscar for Best Value Whiskey twice now. It is still available, it is still affordable, it is still delicious, and I still like it quite a bit. There is one thing to mention though. I've noticed a little bit of a new direction for Arran 10. It does seem to be getting increasingly sherried. Personally, I've always preferred Arran as a cleaner, brighter, more delicate whiskey, so I don't love the new direction. I don't love that it's slowly becoming more cask forward. But credit where it's due, they do seem to be choosing quality sherry casks, and it's still a delicious whiskey. But yeah, there's an evolution happening. Be aware of that. Still a great whiskey, still makes the list. At number 5, it's Arran 10. Alright, so for number 4, we're going to start getting into the juicier stuff here. I've got a very affordable peated whiskey that seems to be charming more and more people these days, and I totally get why. This one is the Ledaig Sinclair Series Rioja Cast Finish. On my list last year, I had the Ledaig 10 in this spot, and I might actually like this one more than the 10. I love the sweet, fruity flavors that were imparted by the wine cask, and underneath that, we still have that peaty, funky Ledaig house style. Now, this is a simple whiskey, so if you're looking for a lot of complexity, you won't find too much here, but our flavors are bold and vibrant. We've got balance, we've got texture, we've got intensity. It's also going to be the cheapest whiskey on this list, which doesn't hurt at all. I love this stuff. At number 4, we've got Ledaig Rioja Cask Finish. Alright, so at number 3, we've got another sherried whiskey, and it's funny. I keep on thinking I'm kind of like coming off of sherry these days, but it does keep popping up on this list, so there must still be something there. This is probably the most sherried whiskey on the list. This is the Glenfarclas 15. Now, this one did have its time in the sun way back. I want to say like at least a decade ago, everyone was talking about it, but that hasn't been the case lately. But the whiskey is still there. It's still delicious. It's still balanced. It's still strongly sherried. And it is one of the few Glenfarclases that comes in at 46%. Now, this is a 15-year-old whiskey, so it will be more expensive than most 10 or 12-year-olds, but for a 15-year-old whiskey, it is very affordable. In fact, I think it's one of the most affordable 15-year-olds on the market, at least where I live. Unfortunately, I don't think this is available in the United States, which sucks. I don't know why you guys don't get distribution over there. You definitely should. It's a great whiskey. It comes in at number 3, Glenfarclas 15. At my number 2 spot, we've got another sherried 15-year-old. This one is not going to be affordable in every market. I know this is overpriced in places like Canada, probably elsewhere, but where I live, it is still very affordable, particularly for the age. It's delicious stuff. This one is the Speyburn 15. As many of you guys know, this one is Roy, or Aquavite's baby. He's been recommending this one for a long time. I picked it up based on that recommendation, and it didn't disappoint. This is not a whiskey that's reinventing the wheel, really. It's classic sherried flavors. We do have the 15 years. It's quality, it's well done, and I don't really have any complaints, and the price is right. So it fits in at number 2, Speyburn 15. Okay, so we've made it to number 1. Keep in mind that number 1 in the context of this list actually makes it number 2. This was a top candidate to become Whiskey of the Year, but it didn't quite make it, and I'll explain why. The whiskey is Kilkerran 12. Honestly, this might have been my Whiskey of the Year. I do like it a lot, but as many of you know, there's like this Springbank gold rush happening right now, and pretty much any Springbank product, be it Springbank itself, Hazelburn, Longrow, and even to a lesser extent Kilkerran, all of these whiskeys are getting really hard to find. Now, we did get lucky here in Taiwan. This bottle showed up on our shelves, I guess, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and it didn't last too long. It lasted at least a month, I'd say, but not much longer. And now all the stock is dried. It's nowhere to be found. It's really popular stuff. It sells out quickly. Still, I know there are some markets where it is still available, so lucky you guys. In terms of price, this one is stretching what I would say is budget friendly or affordable. The price has gone up. It used to be very fairly priced. It's more expensive nowadays, but the newer bottlings I think are better than the ones we had maybe even just a couple years ago. So I don't mind the price. I still think it's a good value. I still think it's worth spending the money on if it's the recommended retail price and not some inflated secondary market price. Yeah, I mean, good luck with this one, guys. I hope you can find it. Again, it's not Whiskey of the Year. It was never going to be, but I have to tell you how good it is. So at number 1, Kilkerran 12. Alright guys, that was it. That was the list. I hope you enjoyed it. This was actually a tougher list to put together this year than it was last year. And that's just because pretty much across the board, whiskey prices shot up in 2022. It was a really rough year to be a whiskey consumer. And even for this list, I kind of had to stretch out what I would normally define as affordable or budget friendly further than I might have liked. Anyway, of course, I do want to hear from you guys. What whiskeys did you have under consideration for your Whiskey of the Year? Maybe you've already picked out your Whiskey of the Year, but there were a few other bottles that were kind of floating around in your head, vying for the top spot, but didn't quite make it. I'd love for you guys to share what those were. Also, how do you feel about my choices this year? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I stretched the budget thing a little bit too far this year? Let me know down below. And finally, for those of you who stuck around to find out what the mystery pour is, this is a whiskey that almost made it. It's delicious. What I've got here is Lagavulin 8. What a star. I love this whiskey. This is a great whiskey. It really impressed me this year. Unfortunately, this is more expensive than every other whiskey I listed on the list, and I've already stretched the budget pretty thin, so I didn't want to go that far, but I had to give it an honorable mention. I had to give it a mystery pour spot just because it's really good. And I guess that's it for our video today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stick around for my next video. My next video will be the Whiskey of the Year. It's the big one. It's the one I chose as the best value bang for buck whiskey of 2022. It's going to be controversial, but I love it. It's really good. So I'm excited to share that one with you guys. In the meantime, I do have a Patreon if you want to help support the channel. Otherwise, you can always like, comment, and subscribe. Always appreciated. Once again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.